Hey, what's up guys, I'm your host Nero, and it's been a while since I've uploaded, but I'm back. I'm back to recording and uploading. And while I was gone, we actually passed 100 subscribers. Damn. So, to all the newcomers, welcome, and I hope you guys enjoy these videos. Anyway, since that's over now, I hope you guys are ready to dive into the world of leaks and rumors. We're talking about everything to expect for iPhone 11. And I can already hear people snoring in the background. Guys, trust me, there's still a few things to be excited about for this year's iPhones. And we're actually not all that far away from the September event where these iPhones will be announced, so here's everything to expect when that event happens. So let's get some things out of the way. What's not going to be changing? And sadly, the design. Apple recently switched from a 2-year cycle to a 3-year design cycle. And the iPhone 11 is going to be the first in that 3-year design cycle, where the iPhone 10, 10s, and 11 share the same, if not roughly the same, design. So now the camera unit is going to be changing and the entire internet's kind of freaking out about how it looks like, but that doesn't really count as a overall design change since it's going to pretty much look the same except for that camera unit. And the notch is still going to be staying this year. There's not going to be a shrinking in the size, there's not going to be a cutout, there's no hole punch, nothing like that. It's the same old top-notch display. Love it or hate it, the notch is going to stay for another year. And the lineup is also going to be staying pretty much the exact same, with a 6.5-inch iPhone 11 Max, a 5.8-inch iPhone 11, and a 6.1-inch iPhone 11R. But hey, the iPhone's expected to get 1mm thicker this year, so there's a design change, I guess. And just with the naming, we don't actually know what they're going to be called because Apple switched from using numbers to Roman numerals with the iPhone 10, where it was called the iPhone X. So we don't know if this year it's going to be the iPhone XI or if it's going to stay as the iPhone 11, as in 1. But I'm just going to call it the iPhone 11 throughout the video. So now as for what's going to be changing, as we can all expect, there's going to be new updated processors. Apple's A13 is rumored to be a beast. Apple's A12 is already better than any processor out there, including the latest generation of Snapdragon and Qualcomm chips. So the A13 is going to be an absolute beast at what it does, and is also rumored to get more battery efficient. And now the new updated processors being more battery efficient also ties in with the fact that the battery sizes are growing on almost all the iPhones, with the iPhone 11 Max, the largest one, getting a battery size of 3,650 milliamp hours. So now this is not exactly the 4,000 milliamp hours like it is on Samsung's and Huawei's, but it's still a 13% increase in the size of the battery from last year's iPhone XS Max. And even though it's slightly less than the 4,000 milliamp hours, you should still expect a battery life that's comparable and maybe even slightly better than the 4,000 milliamp hour batteries because of Apple's efficiency and optimization with the hardware and software. Now, there haven't been any clear rumors, but it's also likely that Apple's going to be improving their RAM. Currently, there's only 4GB and 3GB. That's set to change this year. Now let's talk about the main changes. And really, there's going to be 3: reverse wireless charging, cameras, and Face ID. So beginning with reverse wireless charging, Apple is by no means the first to get to this technology, but Apple lately hasn't been the first to adopt such technology. Rather, they sit and wait until the technology grows and is efficient enough so that it can be put into their devices. And this is one of those scenarios. So now, of course, the reverse wireless charging can be used to charge other wirelessly charging phones, but it's mainly aimed at the AirPods and charging those with the new AirPods wireless charging case, as well as the second generation AirPods which come with the wireless charging case. So the idea is that you can set down your AirPods on the back of your iPhone and you can charge them directly from your phone rather than having to carry around an extra cable for that. And the next biggest change is going to be the cameras. So, like a lot of you would probably know by now, Apple is switching to a 3-camera setup. And this has the entire internet going kinda crazy because Apple's choice as to how this should look is a bit weird. It looks a bit alien. Kinda like it came out from Area 51. So now Apple's had 2 cameras on their smartphones ever since the iPhone 7. But this year they're bumping it up a notch and making it 3 cameras. So there's going to be the standard wide-angle camera, then there's going to be a telephoto camera, and then there's going to be an ultra-wide camera, which is likely to be a 120-degree field of view. Now, because of this, Apple's rumored to be releasing a little square camera housing unit, and it looks weird. I'm not gonna lie, it looks very weird, and it even looks weird on the phones that currently have a 3-camera square housing type thing. And now, although I think it does look a bit weird, I don't really mind it that much because it's on the back of the phone, and since we spend 90% of the time staring into our screens, The only time we really notice this is when we put it down and we're like, oh, it's still there. So although I don't really mind it that much, the one thing I did not like is that it's rumored that Apple's going to be changing the color inside the camera housing. So right now, regardless of whatever color iPhone you buy, the inside of the camera housing is black across all the iPhones. So now it's a pretty subtle thing, but it's just a bit weird. I don't really like it that much. I'd prefer the square housing just to be black than to be an actual color. And we're not done yet. It still gets a bit weirder. There's going to be a camera bump inside the camera bump. So the actual lenses that house the cameras are going to protrude from that camera housing unit. And that's because of two reasons. One, the lens can't be made from the same piece of glass that the entire back is. And the second is because the lens is actually thicker than the phone and the housing unit. So because of that difference in thickness, instead of making the entire iPhone thicker, they just decided to have the lenses protrude a little bit more. So now with all these changes to the camera housing unit and the lens within that unit, there should be significant changes to the iPhone's camera. So now for the past couple of years, iPhone has been consistently coming second place as to the best smartphone camera for photos behind the Pixel 3. So this year they're looking to change that, and they've drastically changed the sensor quality, the AI, and other things to overall just make the images better. Now there's also going to be a specific low light shooting capability like every other smartphone has right now. So now Apple's inclusion of the third camera means that there's going to be enhanced 3D sensing technology, which is going to allow for a more immersive augmented reality experience, as well as for better portrait mode. Now Apple already has the best portrait mode out of any smartphone camera, but this year with the third camera, it's rumored to get a whole lot better. So now these cameras are going to be the major selling point for Apple's new iPhones, and they're probably going to spend a lot of time on stage talking about all the new features and all the fancy new stuff that this camera can do. So now on the note of cameras, the iPhone 11R is only rumored to get 2 cameras. Currently it only has 1, so it's still an upgrade, but we're unsure if this extra camera is going to be the wide angle or the telephoto. Fingers crossed that is going to be the wide angle. But even with just 2 cameras, it should still be capable of doing most of the things that the higher end iPhone 11 cameras can do. And now the final major change to the new iPhones is going to be Face ID. Now I'm one of the biggest advocates that Face ID is a lot better than Touch ID. Now even compared to under the glass fingerprint readers, I still prefer Face ID because I feel that it's more seamless and more futuristic of a technology. And now this new second generation Face ID is expected to work in any orientation, kind of like it does on the new iPads, but it's also rumored to get as fast as the second generation Touch ID. But damn, if that does happen, it's going to be crazy fast. It's going to be faster than any under-the-glass fingerprint reader, and it's going to be just as fast as all the physical fingerprint readers on the older smartphone. But other than that, the sensors aren't really rumored to get any smaller, so the notch is going to be staying the exact same size for another year. And now there's also rumored to be new iPhone colors. Although the iPhone 11 series is going to be staying the same with the gold, silver, and space gray, the iPhone 11R series is going to be getting 2 new colors, a lavender and a green. Now I don't really like those 2 new colors, but if you do, then hey, at least the option's available. And now, although not really confirmed, there's a rumor that all the iPhones this year will be getting OLED panels, instead of the iPhone 11R getting an LCD panel like the iPhone XR. I don't think that's very likely. I think the iPhone 11R is still going to be getting an LCD panel this year as well, because Apple still needs to differentiate the iPhone 11 and the budget iPhone 11R. And finally, what about the price? Now, Apple as a company is not doing so great. iPhone sales have slumped, Johnny Ive has left, they're no longer considered the world's most innovative company, and the production of their phones in China has gotten a lot more expensive because of the trade war between China and the US. So this year, Apple cannot increase their iPhone prices. Or I mean, they could, but this year's iPhones aren't really all that exciting for people to pay the new higher price. But now if Apple reduces the starting price, then the older devices are also going to get a lot cheaper. So then Apple is going to be competing with itself. And there's also increased competition because Samsung and OnePlus have released some really cool new phones this year around, and Apple's phones aren't really that much cooler than they were last year. And now Tim Cook in a report earlier this year did say that Apple was going to be taking a lot of risks in terms of technology, And I don't really see that in terms of the iPhone. There's nothing so fancy or risky in terms of what they're doing. So I don't know, Apple could include a pair of AirPods in the box with the iPhones instead of the usual wired cable. I don't know, this is just me speculating. They'll probably still include the wired cable, but a pair of AirPods would be nice. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video about the leaks and rumors about the new iPhone. Still boring? I don't know, you guys tell me. Are you excited for the iPhone? If so, tell me in the comment section why. If not, then what phone are you waiting for this year? And speaking of another phone coming out this year, the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 is going to be announced in a couple of weeks' time. There's a video coming out about that. And the Google Pixel 4 was kind of already announced, so I'll make a video about that as well. If you guys don't want to miss out on those two upcoming videos, then be sure to subscribe. And until next time, have a great life.